It's the final Sunday night showcase of this SFL regular season, and with the sun set in South Florida in week 14 of season 21, the stakes are clear. Two East Division foes enter the eye for the final time this regular season with a ton of playoff implications at stake. For the Revs, it's win and in, lose and out in season 21. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to The Eye in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine, our statisticians Damon Simeon and Ron Haynes, and my partner, the great Andy Hamilton. I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching the SFL, presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. Happy to have you with us. Thanks for joining us wherever you're joining us from. Andy, stakes are clear for these two in-division foes. Florida's got its sights set on a top 2 seed. Louisiana, meanwhile, needs to win this game just to be in the playoffs next week. A ton at stake for these two squads.
Yeah, pressure when playoff time comes around, Tim, is big for anyone heading to the postseason, but even bigger in a win-and-you're-in scenario for the Revolution. They have to win tonight in order to find their way into the playoffs, and a tough foe, both on the jerseys and on the field, awaits them across the line of scrimmage. Florida has been super good this season. They're going to try and continue that tonight.
Yeah, Florida's kind of back to it, right? They had a bit of a down season last year, surprising. Got some different guys back at the controls of this franchise, and it's worked. They're 9-2. A win away from yet another 10-win season. They've had a handful of those over the last 5 campaigns, and looking for a potential number 2 seed with the win tonight over their in-division foes. The Revolution must knock off the division champs to make it to the playoffs next week, and they will get the ball. We're underway from the Eye. Liam Hammer, the Ulk, do-everything return man who's had a ton of great returns in his career, gets Louisiana out to the 26-yard line. So it's been another interesting season for the Revs this year. They're 6-5 after they obliterated Jacksonville 66-38 last week in their home finale. That was the most points they scored in team history. That win snapped a mini 2-game losing streak, which came after a 4-game win streak. This team has been kind of up and down this season as always, but as we mentioned already, the stakes for the Revs are clear. If they win, they move to 7-5 and make the postseason in season 21. If they lose tonight against the division champion Florida Storm, their postseason hopes are dashed. It's that simple. They have to defeat Florida, which is something that only 2 teams have done all season long. Tommy Utah is the quarterback. The give on the first play of the night is to rookie tailback Dwayne Salmons, and he is stopped at the line by veteran linebacker Ryan Tobin for no gain.
Florida really good on the defensive side, Tim. They are third best, only allowing 110 yards on the ground per game, but through the air, they're good as well. 9th best, 216 yards. Tough task for Louisiana tonight.
Very good overall team this season, Florida. Not a surprise when you consider their record. Utah's pass swatted by Ryan Tobin. He's been involved in the first 2 plays tonight, Andy. He's a former safety in this league, converted to linebacker a couple of seasons ago, and got his hands on that one.
Just his 3rd deflection all season, but he got that paw up there and deflected it. Now 3rd and long. Louisiana's got to find someone. Their leading receiver this season is Lyric Da Vinci.
Tommy Utah's top 10 in a lot of things this season, but he faces a 3rd down and 10, first 3rd down try of the night. Florida sends a blitz. Utah looking deep and hits Liam Hammer in double coverage across midfield. 3rd down and 10. No problem for the Revs on their first possession.
Wow, and with pressure in his face, Utah hangs in there just long enough to unload. Watch this. He gets popped by Big Sexy, but is able to fit it in a window in front of 2 defenders to Liam Hammer. Big play. Hammer is good again. He averages 17 yards per catch this season, and he goes over that on that one grab right there.
Unofficially for 28 for Liam Hammer. Somehow took it away, it looked like, from one of the Florida secondary members. Almost had it in their hands, but Hammer ends up with it. Here's Salmons on the give, and a much better run this time for Dwayne Salmons. A gain of 7 for the rookie. Here is the Louisiana offense. Tommy Utah in his 5th season as the quarterback. A pair of rookie tailbacks, Dwayne Salmons and Chris Grant Jr. with the veteran fullback Cameron Collier. Wide receivers, Lyric Da Vinci, Liam Hammer, Adam Banks, and Rego De Niro. Tight ends, Levy Lease and John Michael Suddeth. And 4 standouts on the offensive line. Tackles, Sergei Katslov and Cole Katz. And guards, Odette Boudreau and Ross Napoli. 7 yards on Salmons' 2nd carry. They'll go to him again. Salmons outside. First down for Salmons. Breaks away from Adrian Blaine and then gets stuck at the end of the run by Leon Funderman, former first overall pick in this league. Salmons has been good the last couple of weeks, Andy, and that's a nice couple of runs for him.
Yeah, Salmons, not necessarily the back stats-wise this year that you would highlight as being a top one in the league, but 10th best in average yards per carry.
And clearly the feature back of their two running back system. He'll get this give. He runs right into his left tackle, but he's still going to be able to break it outside and carry a defender. That's Ryan Davidson for another first down. Brilliant. 3 brilliant runs in a row for Salmons.
Yeah, that was all patience. He gets stuck up there behind the defensive end who's able to shove the tackle back into the backfield. Salmons didn't panic so often in the SFL. We see the back panic in that situation, try and dive inside and lose a yard or gain one, get back to the line of scrimmage. Salmons, patient, finally bounces it back outside, moves the chains.
I've said it before, but Louisiana, to an extent, helped pioneer the two running back look in the SFL. They weren't the first team to do it, but they're one of the few teams doing it once again this year, as Salmons doesn't get a lot there. Good hit by Jesus Smith, rookie linebacker, but these are two rookie running backs into this offense for Coach Brian Craven and Ross Napoli and company, Andy. I mean, you've got a rookie, Dwayne Salmons, who was the 5th overall pick as the number 1 back, and your number 2 back is Chris Grant Jr., who was the 12th overall pick in the most recent SFL draft. So 7 picks separating them, but stat-wise, almost 1,000 rushing yards separating them this season. It has definitely been Salmon's show on the balance of the year. Utah, a little bit of a funky handoff, and Salmons will get to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, a little bit of a draw play. What they're trying to do is keep Florida's linebackers guessing at whether they are throwing or running the ball. The linebackers in Florida are really good. 55, 57, and 66 tackles between the 3 of them. So you want to keep them wondering whether it's run or pass.
3rd down and 2. Louisiana's already converted a 3rd down today. Utah going end zone and airmails Liam Hammer. That's who caught the first 3rd down try. Not this time. Florida locks it down defensively. It's 4th down.
Yeah, and the safety comes up there, makes it 1-on-2. Maybe a little bit of a bump, but it's incomplete. What they were doing there, Louisiana made the line heavy and then went to the air again, trying to keep those linebackers for Florida guessing, and it brings up 4th down.
There's so much experience in these two secondaries, Andy. They're folks in these two units that have been in the league almost as long as you have, and maybe even longer. There's a few players with a dozen seasons of experience in the league dotting these two secondaries, and that is one of their corners, Ryan Davidson, in his 12th season on that coverage, forcing this field goal from Otis Boudreaux. And no surprise, the 2-time All-Star knocks it through. It's a chip shot, and Louisiana strikes first.
Yeah, really good drive by Louisiana. Kind of bailed themselves out with Hammer on that big 3rd down. They needed it in order to keep the drive going, get the momentum on their side, and now their defense has a 3-point lead to try and protect.
These two field goal kickers have combined to miss just 1 place kick this season. Boudreaux is now 19 of 19 in his 5th season playing for the team based in Louisiana. Great kickoff there by Boudreaux as well, and no chance on the return for Art Vandelay, who's back with this Florida team. Started out with Portland, then came over to Florida, took some time away, and now is back with Florida as the head coach and defensive coordinator, leading the way for a highly efficient Florida offense, Andy.
Yeah, they are 3rd best in the league, 22 minutes of time of possession per game. They move the ball very effectively.
And Charlie Beletsky, the running back, is the main man in this offense. But Ron Cochran will throw to start, and a great throw. It's Vandelay, who just had to take that knee in the end zone. Couldn't get any yards there, but he gets 15 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, they are a league best 10 yards per completion when they go to the air, and then they're 5th best on the ground in terms of yards per game. So this Florida offense strikes on all cylinders. They are heavy run. They pass very seldomly. 26th best in the league, 232 total pass plays this season. But when they go to the air, they go down the field.
You beat me to it. Only one team this season has passed the ball less than Florida. They average fewer than 20 pass attempts per game. But as Andy just said, Ron Cochran leads the league in yards per attempt, better than 10. When they pass it, it's very effective. Here's the first run, and J.W. Doyle has the carry. Veteran fullback, now in his 9th total season in the SFL, a gain of 8 to start things off on the ground.
Yeah, and you talked about the two-back system in Louisiana. Doyle is essentially their second back here in Florida. He actually has 52 carries to Chris Grant's 58 on the other side of the field, and his average is better, 5.6 yards per carry for J.W. Doyle, and he's got a touchdown in his back pocket, too.
Typically known eponymously as Doyle, one of the executives on this team as well. He gets 8 on his first carry. Louisiana shows blitz. Here's the first carry for Charlie Boletsky, and he bullets up forward right to the midfield line. We've seen a lot of that this season, Andy.
Yeah, 342 times we've seen him run the football. He is highly utilized, but not as highly effective as some of the other backs in the league. Only 5 yards per carry in terms of average, 7th best in terms of yard. He does have 22 scores, but they use him a lot, and so Louisiana is going to have to find an answer for Charlie Boletsky tonight.
Easier said than done. Like you said, 5 yards per carry. Sounds great, but it is 26th best in the league. Kind of surprising. They will go to him again, and there's a reason why. Louisiana all over that one. Blown up by linebacker Gary Clem.
Yeah, Clem, 7th best in the league. Now 21 tackles for loss after that one. They're going to need him and Chuck Diesel, who's got 18 of them, to combine up the middle on the linebacker blitzes to keep him from running downfield.
Louisiana is second in the league in total TFLs as a unit. Cochran will dump it off to Boletsky. Boletsky just barely gets to the first down line, but he gets it. He doesn't catch the ball all that much, Andy, but that works for a gain of 11.
This is beautiful, Tim. This is an offensive play caller's dream. You get stuffed up the middle for a tackle for loss. Louisiana's going to bring blitz again. What do? You throw the screen. You get the linebackers. Let them come at your quarterback, come up the field, and then Boletsky takes it off that left side for first down yardage. Just a perfect release valve to that blitz up the middle for the loss we just saw.
Under 200 yards receiving on the season for Boletsky and only 1 touchdown. He doesn't catch the ball very much, but his first grab tonight is a good one. Cochran will throw again. Pump fake, and now Cochran is going to take off and run and slide for a gain of 8. My goodness, Ron Cochran, the 13-season veteran, looking spry.
Sometimes you got to pull the trigger and go for it. Riverboat Ron never has a problem pulling the trigger, and he does so there.
Now, they have called him Riverboat Ron because of how aggressive that this quarterback has been in this offense, but it's not really been the case this season as Boletsky gets stonewalled. Nothing doing on that one. Great tackle by Chuck Diesel. He's inherited that Riverboat Ron nickname, which is typically ascribed to somebody else involved in organized football, Andy, but in the offense that is Florida this year, he's really more of the quartermaster. It's Charlie Boletsky who's piloting this ship. Again, Cochran does not throw the ball very much at all. He's 26th in attempts. Boletsky 3rd in rushes. This offense runs through bullets, and typically it runs extremely well. Florida's been great on 3rd downs this season. Their first 3rd down tonight. The give is to Boletsky. Spin move by Boletsky inside the 20, and Charlie Boletsky doing his thing. First down, Storm.
Yeah, dances to the outside, makes 1 man miss, 2 men miss. It is certainly a nice play here. Doyle with a block there. The block on the outside from Minson finally wrapped up there, but was 1 tackle broken away from the end zone, and Davidson made sure he couldn't break that tackle. Or excuse me, that was Bennett.
Yep, Tank Bennett finally at the end of that, bringing an end to that run for Boletsky. Florida in the red zone for the first time tonight. They have been lethal on these situations this season, no surprise. Cochran dancing, Cochran firing, end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Storm, right on the money. E.J. Minson.
Yeah, another laser right down the middle. Ron did not hesitate on that one. He rolled out, found the open receiver. And look at this, Minson bumped a little bit there, but able to fight into the open space of the end zone. I mean, there's 3 Revolution members right there. Ron really was a little bit dangerous with that throw, but made it work.
You took the words out of my mouth because there was Louisiana dropped all those guys back to help protect the end zone. They had 3 guys in the same zip code as Minson, and still EJ was able to find enough space and bring it in. His team best 6th receiving touchdown this season. PAT from Ethan Snead is up and good, and that Florida drive is just about as good as it gets, Andy. That's exactly what we have seen from them all year.
Yeah, consistent, quick to move, and they've done a good job of scoring when they had the opportunity. Louisiana is going to have to go over to the bench and figure out exactly what they can do to stop this offense.
Now, Louisiana is one of the very best red zone offenses in the league this season. They're third in total conversion rate, which we saw a lot last week against Jacksonville. One of the only teams that is better this season than Louisiana in scoring and red zone opportunities is Florida. And so both teams get in the red zone on their first drives of the night, Andy, and Louisiana gets a field goal, Florida gets a touchdown. It's that easy.
Yeah, gotta be able to stop them in the other 60 yards of the field, Tim, in order to try and win this football game. This is the type of game where 2-3 stops could be all you need if you're one of these defenses. And so for Louisiana, it's important to continue to drive down the field. Don't let one drive from Florida derail your progress.
The problem for Florida, and there haven't been many this season, is that they've been an amazing red zone offense, but a terrible red zone defense.
Yeah.
Salmons with the first carry of their second drive and a gain of 5 for Salmons to start things off. Let's just spell that out. Florida's offense has scored in all but one of their red zone trips this season, 97%. That's best in the league. But Florida's defense has allowed their opponents to score in all but one of their red zone trips this season.
Right.
That is almost 97%. Which is the 4th highest mark in the season. So one of the best red zone offenses, one of the worst red zone defenses. Weird little strategy, weird little dichotomy there, I guess, as Chris Grant Jr. gets his first carry for a gain of 2.
Yeah, interesting change of pace there now, set up for third down. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go to the air. Tommy Utah's pretty solid through the air if they need him to be.
Top 10 in the league this season in completions, attempts, and yards. They will throw it on third down. Utah, under pressure, fires off of the body of his receiver. And a diving attempt at the end by Jesus Smith to try to bring it in. He had a target there, Andy. They just could not haul it in. It's 4th down.
Yeah, I think he was looking at Levy Lease, who is a tight end with 6 receptions this season. It's a tough call there on a big third down. You're down by 4. You just let Florida march down the field. I don't hate the throw. I don't hate the decision. Just a tough one not to get.
At least had a catch from Utah last week in their win against Jacksonville. Offense looked as good as it ever has in Louisiana franchise history, but could not convert on that third down opportunity, and that results in the first punt of the day from Vida Lee, rookie kicker. And Florida will start off its second possession from the 28-yard line. This Florida team has been really, really good. You don't have to look any further than their record this year to know that. They're 9-2. They were on a bye last week. They won their previous 2 prior to that against Motor City and DC. They did lose their prior to those 2 wins at Atlanta and against Carolina by a combined total of 10 points. In their second drive of the day, Charlie Boletsky with a nice gain of about 4. They started the season 7-0, and only one of those games was decided by single digits. And then again, they lose their 2 games in a row. Their only 2 losses to this point of the season by a combined total of 10 points. They are second in the league this season in net points, plus 118, outscoring their opponents by an average of nearly 11 points per game. Boletsky, left tackle, breaks through Clem, but then can't break through the second wave of the Louisiana defense. Third down coming up.
Yeah, so often that first tackle not landing sometimes can spring back this season for 10, 20, a touchdown. This time, Louisiana rallies, and they make that second tackle to give themselves a chance on third down.
I know you've seen that plenty of times this year. Boletsky will try to do the same thing, breaks right back up the middle, and gets the first down. Easy does it, runs through Brian Craven, and gets the first down.
Yeah, 3rd and 1 is tough. You really want 3rd and 3 or 4 to try and make Boletsky really fight for those extra yards. 1 is in the league this year, Tim, is really kind of like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, this league has seen its share of amazing running backs this season, and Boletsky's certainly one of them. Here's a toss to J.W. Doyle, and Doyle has a gain of 10 with a toss out the left side. You're a coach and play caller in this league, Andy. I've seen tosses and pitches work more this season than I ever have in the SFL. Are you seeing the same thing in what you guys do?
Yeah, it certainly depends on the team. Plenty of teams have opportunity on the pitch to get their running backs outside into space and get their playmakers the ball with room to work.
Doyle gets 12 on his second carry of the Knights, and it was a toss. They'll toss it to him again. That's Boletsky. He was nearly intercepted on the toss, and Tommy Wellbrook-Bussey, the rookie linebacker, comes up to plant Boletsky after a gain of 1.
I don't know if I've ever seen a whiff as bad as what Gary Clem just did. I thought that was a 10-yard loss, and he just missed. I don't know if that was Boletsky or Clem misread it. Wow.
Time it a little bit better. You might have intercepted the pitch as well. Better handoff this time, more traditional, and Clem atones. He heard you and absolutely blows up Boletsky for no gain.
Yeah, he made up for that one in a big way. Now, this is what you want if you're Louisiana. They're not in the red zone. It's 3rd and 9, and you have a chance to get off the field.
Florida just did that defensively. Louisiana looking for an answer. The Revs need a win to make the playoffs next week. They trail by 4 after 1. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Happy to have you with us tonight. We're live from the I in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Tim Hackett and Andy Hamilton with you in the booth. Damon Simeon, Ron Haynes in the truck. Cameron Irvine behind the scenes. One other pivotal game in action right now with Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith on the SFL YouTube channel. Las Vegas against Arizona. Play action for Cochran on 3rd down and 9. The lefty will zip it, and it's caught by Stephen Bush, who brings in a big gain on 3rd down and long. That was exactly the situation that Louisiana wanted to be in, Andy, as you said, but Florida still able to convert.
Bush is their big play down the field receiver, leads the team in average, 17-yard average per catch, and he pushes Florida right to the edge here of the red zone, and Louisiana just really hurts you there to not get off the field on 3rd down.
All 4 of Ron Cochran's completions today have gone for double-digit yards, and as we've said, he leads the league in yards per attempt, better than 10. And again, all 4 completions for double digits, that one going for a gain of 20 and a 1st down for Bush. They're on the fringes of the red zone. Boletsky will get him there and spins around after a gain of about 7, hit there by Tank Bennett. Here's the rest of the Florida offense. Ron Cochran, Charlie Boletsky, J.W. Doyle. Receivers, Stephen Bush, Art Vandelay, E.J. Minson, and Caleb Giffis. Tight ends, Ron Haynes and Varden Zarkov. Tackles, Joseph Wade and Greg McDonaldson. And center, Putnam on Dayback. Those 3 guys have done a ton of work to help pave the way for this Florida rushing offense. They'll send a man in motion. That is Varden Zarkov. Just talked about him. Florida taking its time. They'll run it. Boletsky outside, breaks that first tackle and gets inside the 10. You caught it a minute ago, Andy. That first tackle, if you can't make it, good luck.
Yeah, and we see that first tackle missing more often than not this season, but Louisiana earlier in this drive was better about that cleanup tackle afterwards. That play, not so much.
It's Dante Grimm who missed the first tackle, and Boletsky is able to give Florida a 1st and goal. Again, with this rushing offense, you can't give them these opportunities, Andy. I feel like you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, and you're in trouble here in the red zone. Florida very good at scoring once they get inside the 20.
They have failed to score points of some variety only once inside the red zone this season. Cochran, quick hitter as he almost got buried, and he finds his target immediately. And that is an unusual target for Ron Cochran, but it works for him to avoid the sack.
Yeah, the safety valve. I mean, I thought Ron was going to get planted there. Somehow got rid of it.
That was Ron Haynes on the catch for Florida. 2nd and goal. Doyle and Boletsky, the backs. Boletsky the give. Boletsky breaks the tackle and sachets into the end zone. He adds to his league-leading total with his 23rd score of the season.
Certainly just too easy at that point. Goal line defense for Louisiana stood up while they could, but they cannot bring down Boletsky, and he finds his way back to the end zone. Extends the lead for Florida.
You saw J.W. Doyle, the fullback, with the initial block. Dante Grimm, the safety, had a piece of Boletsky, not for the first time, and also not for the first time, unable to bring him down. And Boletsky into the end zone once again. We mentioned it. He leads the league with 23 now rushing touchdowns. 3rd in carries, 7th in yards. Not a great average, as Andy said right off the jump on the balance of the season. And still tonight, Andy, not an amazing rushing average for Boletsky, but he has more than done the job. And Cochran behind him, as you see there, is perfect.
Average schmaverage. You're winning the game. You're scoring touchdowns. Boletsky's him.
He's been tremendous yet again this season. 6th season with the franchise that drafted him. And looking to pave the way for Florida to get back not only into the postseason, but back into double-digit wins in the regular season, something they have done quite a bit. They only had 5 last year in what was a down season for this franchise. Just the second time ever that Florida has finished below 500 and out of the playoffs, and they have rebounded. They have a chance to double that output if they win tonight against their in-division foes. Louisiana with a much more concrete objective to try to reach, though. If they lose, they don't make the playoffs at all. Dwayne Salmons, stiff arms at the line, and Salmons is able to turn nothing into something somehow. Oh, we mentioned it. It is a two-back system here for Louisiana, and as Ross Napoli told me, this team really has, this franchise really did pioneer the 2 running back look that so many franchises in the league do now employ. But a pair of rookies to join the 5-season veteran Tommy Utah in the Louisiana backfield, and Salmons has gotten nearly all of the work so far tonight, and only a gain of 2 on that one. Adrian Blaine with the hits. It's 3rd down again for Louisiana.
Yeah, they lean on Salmons heavily in comparison to Grant, and when it goes like that, it makes this 3rd down tough. 4 yards is a long way to run. It's a very short pass. And look at the outside. They have out route all day if they want. Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Florida's changed up this defense, seeing exactly what you have seen. The veteran SFL coach, Andy Hamilton, on that call. And Tommy Utah in the face
touchdown.
Of links up with Liam Hammer, who makes a one-handed catch, and there's nobody else in your picture. He will hop-step it into the end zone. It's officially Hammer time in Florida. Touchdown, Revs.
That is going to be a problem, Tim. Florida has an audible issue and a all blitz. They brought the whole house, and all that Louisiana had to do was find one open receiver. Well, I mean, heck, they were all open. And Hammer was the one who could hold it in. Thank goodness that one hand has glue on the end of it.
74-yard touchdown pass from Utah to Liam Hammer. His 2nd long catch of the day. He's already unofficially over 100 yards. Make it official. 103 receiving yards and a touchdown on just 2 catches for Liam Hammer. Those have been the only completions that Tommy Utah has had tonight, and that's exactly what the Revs needed. They're right back in this game as Boudreaux nails the PAT.
That is something we're going to have to watch out for, Tim. If Florida continues to instill that blitz everyone kind of mindset in some scenarios, Louisiana can take advantage every single time.
I mentioned that Florida's had a tremendous pressure defense. I don't want to say rush defense, but pressure defense this season. They're 2nd in the league in sacks and 3rd in the league in TFLs as a unit. Good coverage on this return. And they were trying to get one of either of those on 3rd down and medium, Andy. And like you said, it did not work at all. That was an easy touchdown. Utah very nearly missed it, if we're being totally honest, but Hammer did the job.
Just had to complete a 2-yard pass, and it goes for another 72 to the house. Now it's only a 4-point game.
70 yards above expected for Tommy Utah on that one. Here's Cochran, who is a perfect 5 of 5 with a touchdown to start his night. Again, he passes less than 20 times per game on average. And he will pass for a 6th time if he can get it off. He will. Boletsky on a little swing, and he gets spotted past the first down line. It's scored there by Tank Bennett.
I don't know what the ref saw. He looked a little short to me. I thought it was for 9. Yeah, he's down there short of the line. They gave him the line. All right.
By Chuck Diesel on the one end. And no review. I was with you.
Sure. It's just a yard. Why not?
Yeah, and it's the difference between a 2nd down and a 1st down. But it's fine. Clock ticking here in the 2nd quarter. Cochran right back under center. They hand off to J.W. Doyle, and Doyle gets around that first hit from Gary Clem, but doesn't get any further. Here's the defense for Lou. Go ahead, Eddie.
Oh, he's just wobbly getting up. I don't know if Doyle's all right or if he tripped or what the deal was.
It is a Sunday night. We have no idea what Doyle's been up to all day. But he has been really effective when he's got the ball so far. 3 carries for 24 yards. Louisiana will pack the box. Here's Boletsky searching, surveying, and nothing doing. Great defense by Louisiana. Gary Clem has been all over this game for good and for bad so far.
Yeah, that defensive front was strong. Boletsky had no real opening. This is where you want Florida. 3rd and 6. You want them to be in a scenario where they cannot rely on number 33 to rush them for a 1st down.
You know that is going to be their first option. Florida's 3 of 4 on third downs to start. Flex Boletsky. Cochran's going to throw right on target. Another great throw from Cochran to E.J. Minson, who caught the touchdown earlier. His second catch goes for a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, he just left the defensive back in the dust. Right off the line. I mean, look at that. He's got 5 yards of separation. I don't know what coverage that Louisiana was running there, but it did not work in that short yardage scenario. It might have been a zone.
That was Rolliman Hood on the coverage for Louisiana. Remember, like we said, there are 4 guys in this Louisiana secondary who are in their 10th season in the SFL or more. Hood is one of them.
Oh!
Doyle with a shoulder check and a first down to the 31-yard line. What a run from J.W. Doyle.
Give him your lunch money. Embarrassing on here on the outside. Look at this. Oh, baby. What a smack. Man. That is not something you see on every run, but J.W. Doyle makes him pay the price in Florida within striking distance now.
Poor Dante Grimm has worn a couple of hits from Charlie Boletsky and now gets absolutely turfed by J.W. Doyle. They call him the Reaper, but he just got his soul extracted. Boletsky with a hurdle, and Boletsky with a nice gain, pile driven behind finally by Gary Clem. Here is the Louisiana defense. The line, Brian Craven, Gary Burney, Neil Rivers, and Chance Wall. Linebackers, Tommy Wellbrock, Bussey, Chuck Diesel, Gary Clem, and Blake B. Craze. Corners, Even Arthur and Rolliman Hood, with safeties, Nathan Blake, Dante Grimm, Tank Bennett, and Jeff Melanishin. Don't look now. Florida's almost in the red zone again. Boletsky gets through that first wave somehow and is going to be given a first down again. That should have been a loss of 1.
Yeah, there were 3 guys there for Louisiana. None of them could wrap up Charlie Boletsky, and that's what you got to do if you want to win a game like this. Because look at the clock, Tim. Already down under 4 minutes in the second. Florida burns clock like it's nobody's business. You have to stop them.
Third in time of possession in the league, as Andy mentioned earlier. We haven't even been on air for half an hour, and the second quarter is almost over. Boletsky with another strong run. He gets Florida a first down.
He's taking a nap.
Well, we're going to hope that's as much as it is.
Oh, that did not look good there, Tim. We will have to check on that. This is huge for Florida. This is, I mean, it's their whole offense.
No kidding. You talk about a change in narrative instantaneously. If Boletsky's out, you mentioned it, this is their entire offense. None of their receivers are having standout seasons. Cochran's extra stats are very good, but his baseline stats are not special at all. And with Boletsky out, this offense changes drastically.
Your offense is built to run, and you have no second halfback. This is tough.
One of the few teams that don't, and that second halfback is going to get blasted. Chuck Diesel was there, 2 other Revs were there. And that is, I mean, case in point, Andy, the biggest difference.
Well, and it's crazy. For Florida, it matters very little what happens in this game. But for any team on the outside of the playoffs hoping that Louisiana does not sneak in, you are devastated with that injury.
No doubt. And a fake handoff. Cochran is going to roll all the way out, throw it back across his body. It's tipped. His receiver's Minson. Minson gets taken down. And Dante Grimm, who was just had his soul extracted by J.W. Doyle earlier in this possession, gets his hands on that one, a critical pass deflection on third down.
And Florida's offense in this area of the field so good, but without Boletsky, they fall short and have to settle for just 3.
No doubt about it. It's a huge difference, and the biggest storyline now to watch the rest of the nights in terms of on-field action. Field goal is good from Ethan Snead. He's missed only 1 all season. That still counts as a successful red zone trip for Florida. Don't let the percentages that we threw out earlier fool you. These two teams have scored 95+% of the time in the red zone. That doesn't mean they score touchdowns 95% of the time. It's just points somehow or another. But again, these two teams have been lethal in those situations this season. Florida is 3 of 3. Every team around the league, or half of them at the very least, watching these 2 games tonight with very, very close attention. Great kickoff by Snead. Louisiana will have to start from the 20. And as Andy mentioned, there are a ton of other teams that are 6-6 or 7-5 that are watching this result right now, and the result of the other game tonight, Vegas against Arizona. Those 2 results will dictate the fates of not only those 4 teams, but a ton of other teams that are on the bubble, teams that are looking for their own playoff seeding, teams that are wondering if they're even going to make the playoffs, which start a week from this weekend. 7-point game, final 3 and change of the second quarter. Utah under pressure from Alex Dominguez. His pass is too tall, but we will see our first flag of the night, Andy.
It's pass interference. Yeah, Florida's running a soft shell zone here, Tim. I don't know if we're going to see a replay, but they basically dropped 6-7 down by the line of scrimmage in the first down marker. And this crossing route here, I don't know about that penalty, actually. It looked more like the receiver ran into his own other receiver, but there was a lot of defenders there. That was a good time for Louisiana to maybe take a deeper shot down the field if they wanted it.
And we'll call Leon Thunderman for the penalty in that area, along with Evan Carroll. And Louisiana will start from the 29. That pass from Utah, nobody was home. There's no PI anywhere to be seen on that one, Andy, and it's just an airmail from Tommy Utah.
Yeah, they came back to try and take the shot there on the free play on first down. Now second down, I would go to the ground. Maybe get the clock moving a little bit. You don't want to give Florida a ton of time to score again before the half.
Utah has 2 of his first 7, but one of those completions was that 74-yard touchdown to Liam Hammer. Utah will pass it here, toss it out to Dwayne Salmons. Salmons with a nice gain out towards the first down line, 2 yards short. This is something that Louisiana did a lot last week, Andy, against Jacksonville. Such a great pass rushing team. They lead the league in TFLs, talking about Jacksonville. So Louisiana did everything that it could to prevent giving up sacks. No one's given up more this season than Louisiana. Utah hit Salmons with checkdowns out of the backfield a lot. He caught 8 passes last week in Louisiana's big win. Figure that might be the strategy against this great pass rushing team. Salmons on third down gets stuffed. Nothing doing. Jesus Smith with the hit, and it's fourth down for the Revs.
And Tobin read that one really well, too. Shot the gap there on the right side. They flanked the fullback out instead of leaving him in the backfield to kind of keep pace there with Salmons, and that, I think, hurt that play overall.
Salmons was not able to finish it off. Rookie against rookie, and Jesus Smith finishes the job. Vitally on the punts, not much on this return, and time left for Florida. That's Chris Grant Jr., the number 2 running back, who's in on special teams. Don't see that very often. Well, you see it now more than ever, I think, in the SFL, Andy, but still, you got a featured offensive player out there doing some dirty work.
Hey, anything it takes, right? We're all about team success here in the SFL, not just individual success, so good opportunity there for Chris Grant Jr. to make his mark on the game. Boletsky still out for Florida.
Yeah, Grant only has 1 rush on the night, and now he's got an impact on special teams. Man in motion to this near side, it's Bush. Louisiana will move Even Arthur out to cover. Play clock now at 5 as we approach 2 minutes in the first half. Here's the give. Remember, Boletsky's out, and a Boletsky-esque spin move by our number 2 tailback, and he will be given a first down. All right.
Yeah, look at this. Bennett has to clean it up, but nice run in there. Came out. Maybe Boletsky told him something on the sidelines about going to get it. These guys sit in meetings all week.
Somebody's got to pick up this slack. It is a big hole left by the bullets. And not the one that leaves a gunshot wound, but somehow a potential fatal wound for this Florida offense that they have to overcome somehow. They have to triage it with somebody else. 2 minutes left in the first half. Florida on top, 17-10. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on YouTube. Happy to have you with us. Florida's got its sights set on the number 2 seed. They could get a step closer to that with a win tonight. They've got a 7-point lead. Cochran's pass off of the body of his receiver and nearly picked off on the carom by Even Arthur. That was a weird play.
Yeah, and if you're Arthur, you want that one. I mean, anything you can steal from Ron Cochran and this offense, you want to do so. Cochran only 9 interceptions, 9th best in the league. He's really good at completing over 70% completion percentage this year. So if it hits you in the hands and you're Louisiana's defense, you got to take advantage.
Cochran is best in the league this season in completion percentage and in yards per attempt. They will toss it out to J.W. Doyle, and Doyle has nowhere to go. Hit immediately on the line by Rolliman Hood. Hood and Arthur are now playing together for the 7th season. They've both also been in the league for 10-plus years. Again, 4 guys in the Louisiana secondary can say that, and there are 6 players on the Florida defense that have been in the league for at least 10 seasons. Crazy tenure and experience on these 2 defenses. Fake the handoff to the number 2 back. Cochran's going to fire off the hands of E.J. Mixon. That could have been a first down, Andy. Instead, it's 4th and 10.
And it's just really this drive where Florida's receivers could not hang on. I don't know if maybe they feel a little bit more pressure now that Beletsky maybe hasn't been in the game. You know, it's a situation where you feel like you got to make every catch as opposed to being able to be a little bit loose. And Florida comes up empty.
Cochran was 7 of his first 8, but missed on 2 passes on that possession. You could argue that he should have had both of them. Great punts by Marcus Agrippa. And Liam Hammer, who's got the touchdown for Louisiana, is running the wrong way afterwards. He'll get forward progress to the 25, but brilliant return after an even better punt.
I thought he was about to spin out of that last one and reverse field back towards this side. Watch this. I mean, you're returning in a phone booth here as he goes right, but he finds a lane, spins back right here. I thought he was going to get loose back again to this near side, and that would have been, I mean, he had all the space in the world. That would have been Devin Hester-esque.
Still a 15-yard return for Hammer. Not bad considering the punt from Marcus Agrippa, who's one of the best in the league. But even still, Louisiana with the ball, all 3 timeouts and trailing by just 7 against one of the best teams in the SFL this season. 2 backs back for Utah. Here's the give to Dwayne Salmons, who has certainly been the bell cow tonight, and a bit of a conservative play call there, Andy.
Yeah, if you're Louisiana, I think you've got to go down the field. Utah tonight has struggled. He's only hit 1 receiver not named Dwayne Salmons, and that's Liam Hammer for 102 yards on 2 catches. Other than that, no one has touched the ball. I think you got to go down the field here with time running out.
He's barely even had the chance to look for anybody else, but he will try to here. Utah's pass is caught by John Michael Suddiff, and Suddiff breaks a tackle and gets pushed out of bounds. Brilliant work by the Louisiana tight end.
Right on time, and that's what you needed to do. You need a little spark from your offense, at very least for momentum's sake, Tim, heading into the half, because Salmons is great. He's at 4 yards per carry tonight, but he can't do it all, and neither can Liam Hammer. You need someone else to show up.
It was a real team effort last week for Louisiana in their dismantling of Jacksonville. Again, franchise record, 66 points. Salmon scored 2 touchdowns, but Chris Grant scored 4. He only had 3 on the season before last week, so a real team effort, and Utah was flawless. They have not found things quite as easy this week against the Storm. Not a surprise. Utah on this big rollout. He'll throw back across his body, and reaching up to make the catch is Suddiff. Back-to-back big catches for the big tight end. The Revs across midfield.
Man, Utah looked strong there. He didn't even flinch. Just a flick of the wrist back to the other side of the field. If you're Florida, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that play there.
Last catch went for 20. That one went for 15. Not bad for John Michael Suddiff, 4th season tight end. And his 3rd with the Revs. Man in motion, that's Adam Banks, who's in his 2nd tour of duty here with Louisiana. He's always a big 3rd down and late in quarter situation target man for this offense. Utah is going to get hits. First sack of the night, and it's from the all-time leader, Alex Dominguez.
Oh, Big Sexy's been doing it for a while, Tim, and he does it again here. He's been doing it this season as well. He's always someone you have to look out for. Really kind of an Aaron Donald type player. You have to ID where number 69 is lurking.
5th sack of the season for Alex Dominguez. Nobody in league history has more than he does all time. More than 220 in his career. 14th season in the league. They send the house again, and Utah's going to get taken down for the 2nd straight play. This Louisiana team has not been able to keep Utah upright all season, Andy, and in the crunch time here in the first half, they give up back-to-back sacks.
Yeah, they are struggling. This is going to be their longest drive since the opening drive of the game, Tim, where they went 10 plays and 60 yards for a field goal. We'll see what they do here on 3rd and a country mile.
Rookie J.J. Bailey involved on that sack. They will hand it off on 3rd and forever to Cameron Collier, and he's going to be stopped for a loss. That's the aforementioned J.J. Bailey, who's out in a nickel or dime set defensively. He gets a sack. He gets a TFL on back-to-back plays. Welcome to the league.
Yeah, I saw him in the chat earlier, too. So he's around, he's paying attention, and he wants to help his team win.
He had just 8 tackles and 2 TFLs in Florida's first 11 games. Back-to-back tackles there to stop this drive. The Revs don't have to snap it, and they won't. What a ball game we got. It matters a ton to these two teams and to about a half dozen other teams who are watching closely. And after the first half, it's Florida with a 17-10 lead over their East Division foes, the Revolution.
Yeah, Tim, it was a battle back and forth in the first half. Two teams going to work. Louisiana on their opening drive went down and got 3. Then they had a shot play to Liam Hammer to add 7 more. Florida, on the other hand, though, has been pretty consistent. But the big question for the Storm is the health of Charlie Boletsky. They're interested to see if he'll return. He's got 74 yards on 16 carries and a score, but went down there. And so his health is something they have to check on. Florida, 14 points with Boletsky in, only could get 3 without him. So for Louisiana, they're also interested in that number as they look at Hammer's numbers. He's their halftime player, and we'll have to see what the second half has. It's hard to tell without Boletsky, Tim, what impact these two teams can make, because it's a big gain for Florida if he's in, and it's a big loss if he's out.
We're going to get a look at it right here. The touchdown catch, 74 yards. Oh my goodness, broken vertebra. He's done. Charlie Boletsky is out for the rest of the night, and that is going to change things up on a massive scale. Not just for these two teams, but for a lot of other teams in the league, Andy, who are watching these two games tonight with bated breath, with full focus. Boletsky is done for the night. The league leader in rushing touchdowns got his league high 23rd earlier tonight. He is done for the night. Breaking news out of the halftime break. Florida's going to get the ball first to start the second half. We'll see what they could possibly do to adjust for that. For the first time tonight, we've got a game break. Here's Cameron Irvine in the SFL studios.
Thank you, Tim. Arizona hosting Vegas tonight, and it's all Scorpions early. At the time of this touchdown, they led in total yards 148 to -3. Arizona leads 14-0, and if they win, or if the results hold true tonight, Arizona would be the 5 seed. Florida has a chance at the 2. Back to you.
And Louisiana would be out of the playoffs entirely. Thanks very much, Cam. First play of the second half. J.W. Doyle, we figure he might see an expanded role here, Andy Hamilton. He was great in that first half, even with Boletsky out there, but with Boletsky gone, that is a 9-yard pickup for the fullback.
Yeah, it's officially National Doyle Day. You got to figure out how to get number 45 involved. 7 yards per carry so far tonight for him. Keep feeding the thick boy.
No doubt. 9 yards on that one. We'll take a couple of side steps out to the right. Remember, Bono Boletsky back there. It's a different tailback, and that tailback will get the carry. Spin move and a sachet, and he gets a first down. Best run of his career for Kason, and he's got a first down for Florida.
Yeah, Doyle sealed it on the inside. Doyle may not get the carry, but he's got to seal that block there. Look at that. Got 2 guys. Oh, little shake and bake. So Doyle can still affect the run game, and he's still got to help this Florida team, whether the ball is in his palms or whether it's in Kason's hands.
Yeah, you figure that this is why you have a fullback like Doyle. Louisiana's got a great one well in Cameron Collier, but Doyle's going to have to help pave the way. Here's Kason on the carry. Nothing doing. Great hit immediately by Blake B. Craze. He'll give Kason a gain of 1.
And that's how, if you're Louisiana, you get back in this game. You slow down when Florida decides to give Kason a carry. You can't, because if he gets going, you're really done for.
No doubt about it. You can't let that happen. Here's Doyle on 2nd and 9. Doyle up the middle. Nice gain. It's Craze again on the hits along with Chuck Diesel. And it brings up 3rd down and 4. This Florida offense has been really, really good this season. Their defense has been really, really good this season. No surprise at 9-2. They're number 5 in the league in points scored, 33.8 per game. Number 6 in points allowed at 23.1. There's only one other team in the league that is top 6 in both points scored and points allowed, and that's Fort Worth, which is 11-0. They're number 1 in both categories. So Florida, a truly elite team, but without their best player on offense. Cochran, Kason, first down for the number 2 tailback out to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, really beautifully drawn up. Florida found the opening. Cochran hit it. Take a second look here, but, I mean, it's open the whole way. Doyle cuts upfield. Louisiana cannot get their guys off the blockers, and Cason finds the room, has blocking in front. First down. They were 4 of 7 on third down before that play, now over 50% on 8 attempts, and so Florida continuing to move the ball. Cochran efficient as ever, 8 of 11.
No doubt. We said he doesn't pass the ball very much, but when he does, he's extremely efficient. Tops in the league in yards per attempt, and completion percentage has been very, very good in both of those. Doyle gets around the first body, and then Gary Clem puts a stick on him at the end. It's a gain of 4 for Doyle, who's now over 50 yards on the ground tonight. He's
been a little slow getting up just about every time. I don't know if he's trying to tease Louisiana or what the deal is, but get to your feet. Stop scaring everyone.
No kidding. That would really dampen the mood here for the team that plays in the eye of the storm. Here's Cason right up the middle, and Dante Grimm will get the hit that time. We've seen a lot of Grimm and a lot of Clem, and unfortunately that has not boded well for Louisiana defensively in this game. They've both picked up a ton of tackles, but that's because they've both been needed to.
Yeah, can you get a tackle on 3rd and 1? Is it Cason or Doyle?
Louisiana will stack the box to try to prevent it. There's 9 guys in the box defensively. Cason gets the give. Grimm got in there, so did Rolliman Hood, but Cason, the number 2 back, still able to pick up the first down.
Yeah, he fell forward and then got knocked backwards, but that's a first down. Cason, though, when it's Beletsky and it's 3rd and 1, it's almost automatic. When it's Cason, you just never know.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's just a total wild card in this game. You know what you're going to get with Beletsky, and what you're going to get is something extremely good. I don't imagine they have any film on this guy.
Look at
He's
that.
going to get some highlight tapes right here. Cason down to the 11-yard line. They'll spot him at the 10. Welcome to the SFL.
Yeah, and the blocking there on that right side, beautiful. Doyle and this offensive line going to work. We'll get a second look. Doyle seals the edge. The receivers. Minson's got 2 guys he blocks. Bush gets another one, and it makes it hard for the Revolution to get over there in time. But, Tim, if you're not in this league and you're looking around going, how do I make my mark with so many veterans, so many great players? You got a virtual unknown in the backfield for Florida right now. That's a spot that's open for next year.
Avion Cason stealing the show so far, and he gets Florida down to the 9-yard line somehow. Cochran, sprint out to the right, fires, touchdown, Stephen Bush. Avion Cason the story, but Stephen Bush with the exclamation mark on that sentence.
Well, and they lulled him to sleep. Then they went with, I think it was a play action, and Bush open on that right-hand side. We'll get a second look here at his route. He's bumped a little bit there, finds the outside shoulder. Cochran puts it where only Bush can collect it, and it's 6 points for Florida, and Louisiana did not want that coming out of the halftime break.
You've seen both of Florida's top 2 options this season come out to play. E.J. Minson and Stephen Bush have now combined for 11 receiving touchdowns on the balance of the season. By far the majority of the looks this season for Cochran, a team that does not pass the ball very much, like we said. And with Avion Cason now leading the run game, Stephen Bush, who I've always said is a guy who does the little things very well, Andy. He's open, gets past a backup safety, and gets touchdown number 5.
10 plays, 80 yards. Our stats team doing a really good job, right on the money.
Here comes Liam Hammer, who had the first touchdown of the night for Louisiana. So far, their only touchdown of the night. They've seen this deficit increase a little bit more. If you're liking this game so far, then smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events per year. There is no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action, and help the channel grow through your supports. And a lot more SFL action coming your way when the postseason begins next week. Louisiana hopes they are one of those 12 teams in the playoffs, but they've got to overcome a 14-point deficit to do that. Dwayne Salmons. Both teams have a number 23 as the running back, Andy, and we expected we would see Salmons in this game. We did not expect we'd see Cason, and Florida ready for Salmons on that run.
Yeah, Thunderman over there got the job done. Leads the team in tackles so far with 4. He's ready to go on Salmons all night so far.
Grant with still only 1 carry. Collier still only with 1 carry. Utah evades. Utah fires in, overcooks his receiver again. He had a target there, Andy, past double coverage. I think it was Sudeth, and he couldn't find him.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst throw either. Put it on his outside shoulder. maybe just a little too far outside for the receiver to get. Utah looked a little uncomfortable there in the pocket, readjusted, found his footing and threw, but couldn't find the receiver.
I feel like this is a huge play in this game, Andy. You don't
Massive.
want to oversell it, but 3rd down and 10. Florida starting to pull away, you feel. Utah under pressure, still is able to get it off, and
Nice.
Hammer will make the catch, reaching up and making the snag. What a snag it was over top of Andrew Francis. 1st down, courtesy of Liam Hammer.
Yeah, those two connect. This throw was tough. He had a blitzer coming, threw it on the wrong side of Hammer. Hammer went up and got it over the top of Andrew Francis, the strong safety. Francis lucky to wrap his arms around him and not let it go for 6. 1st down, and now Louisiana moves into the Storm territory. Man coverage down here on the bottom.
How nice must it be to add a superstar like Liam Hammer into this passing offense? They did that last season as Salmons doesn't have much going there. They'll give him a gain of 4 somehow, but I mean, Hammer was a superstar just about everywhere that he has been. I think he probably knew that he would take a little bit of a reduced role because Louisiana has almost always been a team that has run the ball more than they have passed it, or more effectively at least on the ground, but you still got Hammer out there stealing the show tonight. He and Sudduth are their only 2 receivers that have caught passes from Utah. Here's a strong toss to Grant, his 2nd carry of the night, and Ryan Davidson spins him down for no gain.
Yeah, tough to get both backs involved sometimes. It does affect the rhythm of Salmons, and you can only run it so many times, right? So if you're taking some of those runs for your 2nd or 3rd guy or the fullback, it eats into the carries for Salmons.
There's nobody on this offense that is in the top 30 in receptions or yards this season, just to prove my point. Utah on 3rd down, he will take off, and Tommy Utah's got the 1st down. We saw Cochran with a nice run earlier. Tommy Utah with the run here. League quarterbacks are running more than they ever have in this new era of the SFL, Andy, and Tommy Utah with a great about face for a 1st down.
Yeah, he felt the pressure from behind him and was able to get there and move the chains.
Remember, Louisiana has allowed more sacks than any other team in the league. You sacked 22 times through 11 games and twice earlier in this game. From the 34. Through pressure again, Utah's pass over Cameron Collier's helmets and off of the body of Andrew Francis. 2nd down.
Yeah, Francis seemed a little surprised when it hit him in the gut. I don't think he was expecting that ball to be right at him.
Time ticking down in the 3rd quarter. Must-win game for the Revs. The final week of the regular season. Utah's going to hurdle a defender, and he'll take off again. Needs to protect it, and does. And he gets 7 as he's hit by Thunderman. How about this possession for Tommy Utah?
Yeah, he's looking like Wheels McGee back there. I don't know how he hurdled whatever was going on with the defensive line. 3rd and 3. We'll see what they got. They got Grant in the backfield.
Just 2 carries tonight for the fellow rookie. They'll make it 3. Grant to the outside. 1st down. Chris Grant Jr. inside the red zone. He goes. It's Davidson on the finish. And Grant, who had the best game of his career last week with 4 touchdowns, a critical gain on 3rd down there to move this drive along.
Yeah, you love to see it. These players who don't touch the ball very often, you know, sometimes when they do, it doesn't work out how they want, but able to find the 1st down there, keep this drive alive for Louisiana. Now inside the red zone again. Florida gives up 96% in the red zone.
They've only stopped opponents once this season in these opportunities. Grant spins around and is able to get 3 somehow. We mentioned these are 2 rookie tailbacks, but it has been the Salmon show all season long. He has close to 200 more carries than Grant, more than 1,000 more rushing yards than Grant, and 7 more total touchdowns than Grant this season. For 2 guys that were separated by just 7 picks in the most recent SFL draft, but Grant coming on strong of late, and he will get his 3rd straight touch, and he will give Louisiana a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, I wonder if there is anything going on with Salmons or if he's just given Grant, you know, a drive here, and it looks like he's back in. So some nice trading back and forth between the 2 young halfbacks.
Those 2 guys teamed up very nicely last week against Jacksonville. Salmon starting drives and Grant finishing. Looks like a little bit of a change of script here. Louisiana hopes it finishes with the touchdown. 3rd and 3. They'll motion Collier. Here's Salmons. Salmons blows through the first hit and gets that 1st down. Jesus Smith, the first tackle. Leon Thunderman finally brings him down, but not before Salmons gets 6 and a fresh set for the Revs.
Yeah, I never like motioning that fullback out of the backfield. It just feels wrong to have that big Cameron Collier on the edge already. I like to get him with a head of speed.
He will start off offset on the left side, number 21 in the backfield. Utah's going to pass, sidearm sling, end zone, touchdown! Liam Hammer's got his second. The Revs are right back in it.
Nice throw on the slant. The defensive back for Florida actually shaded down to cover Salmons in the flat. We'll get a pretty good look at it here. Right there, he's still staying in the flat because Salmons is coming on that flat route. They had a blitzer from the outside. Utah beat him to the throw, and it's another touchdown, second of the night for number 8.
We mentioned that Liam Hammer is a superstar in this league. He has 60 receiving touchdowns in his career before tonight. But would you believe that this season he only had one before tonight? One receiving touchdown for Liam Hammer all season. Tonight, through less than 3 quarters, he's got 2. He has been their best player on offense, and it hasn't been close.
It is tough this year for receivers, Tim. I tell you what, I got 2 really good ones on the team that I'm involved with, and it is hard to get them involved, much less when you are a rushing team like Louisiana is. They do a good job tonight. Liam Hammer having a great night so far, 133 yards on 4 grabs with 2 scores. That is something to write about tomorrow on Simulationfl.com.
And no doubt about it. And we mentioned that Louisiana, a great rushing team. Florida, certainly a great rushing team as well. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this because Florida's 9-2. They're close to going 10-2 if they can finish this thing out. They might be the number 2 seed in the playoffs in 2 weeks. They'll have a first-round bye regardless if they win or lose tonight. They might have had something figured out this season, but they're in a dogfight right now against the second-place team in their division. More on that in a second. Art Vandelay, the man in motion to this near side, doesn't have a target tonight. Here's the handoff. J.W. Doyle with a gain of about 5. Remember, it's Avion Cason in the backfield and not Charlie Boletsky. Florida this season, Andy, has the 5th best rushing offense in terms of yards per game and the 5th worst passing offense this season in yards per game. It's kind of interesting considering their record, but I think they may have had something figured out because on the balance of the season, the better rushing teams are going to be the ones that are in the playoffs next week. Cason. Tangled up at the end of it by Chuck Diesel. And of the teams with the top 10 passing offenses, only 4 of them could even still make the playoffs as action rolls along this weekend. And 8 of the top 10 rushing offenses are already guaranteed to be in the playoffs. Florida is, of course, one of those. So it seems this season that running teams have had more success than passing. And you can see that just in the numbers. There are so many amazing running backs this season, as Andy Hamilton well knows. 3rd down and 3. Florida absent its amazing running back for the rest of the night. So Cochran will throw into traffic, and it's hauled in by Ron Haynes for a first down through double coverage. Cochran threads the needle. Haynes hauls it in, his second grab.
Well, make sure you mark that one in the stats truck, Ron. That is a first down for Florida and a nice catch for you.
Gary Clem with the hit on the backside to bring an end to it. There are the numbers for Cochran, 10 of 13. Brilliant start. 77% completion percentage, again, best in the league on the balance of the season, north of 71% this year. And 2nd in quarterback rating this season as well. Cochran looking to add to that. One-handed snag by Stephen Bush. My goodness.
That's got to be the nice hands catch of the night, right?
Go for it.
But yeah, I mean, he did go for it. Right across the middle. Look at this. Just sticks the paw out. I'm surprised he didn't break his ribs there on that hit. Right across the middle. Yep, that's right in between the 2 receivers. Nice, or defensive backs. Nice play, and Dante Grimm gets there and brings him down.
The machine head starting to rev it up. That's the final play of the 3rd quarter. Florida still on top by 7. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on YouTube.
The Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Alongside Andy Hamilton in the booth, I'm Tim Hackett, Ron Haynes, Damon Simeon, and Cameron Irvine alongside us. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. Final Sunday night showcase of this SFL regular season. Two teams from the East Division doing battle here tonight in the eye of the storm. Avion Kason, the story tonight, taking over for standout tailback Charlie Boletsky. Let's get it before we go too much further along, Andy. That catch by Bush, it was the nice hands catch. Brought to you by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. Had a couple of candidates, but figured we should get that in for Stephen Bush before we go too much further. Avion Kason watches as JW Doyle spin away, and what a hit by Brian Craven, sticking Doyle for a loss of 1.
Not only did he make the tackle, Tim, but he shoved that left tackle back into the face of Doyle to keep him behind the line of scrimmage. That was about as dominating as a play you'll see from the end position in this league.
Have not heard much from the Louisiana defensive line tonight, Andy, at least production. And Craven with that hit. 3rd down and 5 for Cochran. Under pressure, fires, and Bush pulls it in again over top of a defender. That's Nathan Blake. That's an even better catch than his last one was. Unbelievable by Stephen Bush.
Read it again. Read it again. I think he took this, we'll see on the replay. I think it was one-handed off his helmet. Look at this, right off the earpiece. Oh, baby. That is disgusting. And Nathan Blake goes, oh, man, I'm going to be on SportsCenter.
And he didn't hear that one coming, did Blake, but he'll hear this one. That was the nice hands catch of the game. Sure, brought to you by Retroid, but a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. The machine head, Stephen Bush, does it again. Here's JW Doyle. And a nice gain for Doyle. I don't always get all my ad reads in, Andy. I think Cam knows that by now, but I've done a few games this season where I've done that read 3 or 4 times in a game. So Retroid's got to love me, I hope.
Yeah, our partners over at Retroid are like, get this Tim Hackett guy on more games.
APM Music's thinking something different, and maybe the fans are but anyway, Florida's loving what they're seeing here in this second half. Avion Kason, a big reason why. Still going. He scores. Avion Kason, welcome to the SFL.
He said, I will not be denied, Tim. I think he broke 4 tackles on that one. And look at this offensive line. They love it. They're like, Boletsky who? Let's get this guy going. Look at that. 1, 2. Oh, man. What a run from Kason. And if you're Louisiana, you're really going, what the heck is going on?
They've knocked out, not intentionally, but they knocked out one of the very best tailbacks in the league. Charlie Boletsky injured late in the second quarter after scoring a touchdown, not on the same play, but after he had scored a touchdown. And so Avion Kason, a complete unknown, jumps to the top of the depth chart, and he has dominated. His first touchdown of the night extends Florida's lead back up to 14.
I mean, if you're Louisiana, this next drive is must score. You must get within 1 score of this Florida team if you want a chance to win, because they take time off the clock like it's nobody's business. That was a 3.5-minute drive.
This is Chris Grant Jr. on the return for the Revs. Liam Hammer, whose career game has to be gassed, I guess. This is a surprise. I was about to say it's a pop fly kick from Ethan Snead and returnable for Hammer, but it was Grant on that run back, Andy. I have not seen that yet this season for Louisiana. And it's Hammer leading the way, so it's just a short kick. Grant comes up to take it and doesn't get much on it.
Yeah, we'll see. It's all about what Louisiana can do on the drive. They had that one big throw to Hammer. We haven't seen Florida use that blitz combination again for Louisiana to take advantage of. See what happens here on this drive. They're going to start in a nickel look.
You called it at the time. It might have been just a missed call, missed coverage by Florida, leading to that 74-yard catch by Hammer. Not a lot of big strikes from Louisiana since. There's a nice link up from Tommy Utah to Cameron Collier. The fullback has his first catch, second touch of the night. Picks up 7. He's always been one of the most used fullbacks in the league. 13 carries, now 21 catches on the season. 3 total touchdowns for Collier, 2-time SFL All-Star. Time ticking. 4 on the line and another half on the line here for Florida. Toss it out. Chris Grant stiff arms the wrong way, but still will get across the 40-yard line, and a strong run for their second rookie, Chris Grant.
Yeah, they're getting him involved. I tell you what, Grant is showing me some things that I like. He is a back that looks like he is ready to take that next step. He just may need more carries under his belt, Tim, and that is the beauty and the pain of the SFL and having these expanded rosters is that so many good players get less opportunities, but at the same time, they shine in individual moments. It's so exciting.
No doubt, and Grant had that opportunity last week, scoring 4 touchdowns in Louisiana's rout of Jacksonville. Utah zips it, swatted, and broken up. Great coverage. That was going for Sudeth. Evan Carroll, the long-standing Florida secondary member, makes that stop. His 14th season with this franchise. He and Big Sexy have been along for the ride for a long time for Max Paul's team.
Yeah, and if these results hold, Tim, Charleston making the playoffs at 6-6 due to strength of schedule. So Predators fans hoping that the Florida Storm can keep Louisiana from coming back.
Louisiana, as we've said before, they must win. If they lose, they will be out even at 6-6 due to other tiebreakers, facing the top team in their division and one of the best teams in the league to close the year. Utah, too tall for Liam Hammer and broken up by a pair of Storm defenders. It has been Ryan Davidson on Hammer most of the night, Andy, and another incompletion here for Utah. He's under 50% tonight.
Yeah, back and forth between Davidson and Hammer. 4 catches only for Hammer, but 133 yards and 2 scores.
Louisiana is 6 of 10 on third downs tonight, but as the clock continues to dip, they get even more important. Florida sends pressure. Utah can't get away. Third sack by the Storm. Alex Dominguez at the scene of the crime yet again.
And look at him. He's like, yeah, I did that. And the crowd going wild over here. They got to get some Big Sexy t-shirts over there in the merch shop here at the Storm. And they just close in on Utah. There's nothing he can do about that one. Look, all 4 of the offensive linemen are facing the wrong way. And now Louisiana has to punt and rely on their defense down 2 scores. This is not where you want to be if you're the Revolution.
Figured that would be a matchup to watch on the Florida side. Again, Louisiana's given up more sacks than anybody, and Florida's defense second in the league in sacks on the other side. That should have called for a fair catch. The return man just got absolutely blown up for no reason. That is Caleb Giffis, rookie receiver, return man for Florida. And that has been a matchup that Florida has won. 3 sacks for that unit tonight. The SFL playoffs start Saturday, November 4th and Sunday, November 5th with a pair of wildcard weekend doubleheaders airing at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The full weekend schedule will be broken down on This Week in the SFL Monday nights before Alamo City versus Fort Worth. Good luck to all chasing the SFL's 21st championship. These 2 teams hoping to be 2 of those teams chasing it next week, Andy, but if these results hold, like you said, Louisiana would be out. One other critical game in action right now on our SFL YouTube page. Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith have the call of Arizona, Las Vegas. That result will also determine some teams that make the postseason, some teams that won't. It'll determine seeding for a lot of those teams, especially for Arizona. Arizona could be the matchup next week for Louisiana if they win and some other things go their way, as Cochran's pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and forever with Gary Clem on the coverage.
This is probably the play of the game. This is exactly what you want if you're Louisiana, a quick 3 and out. And if you're Florida and you convert this, you can run the clock down immensely. So big play here for the Revs. Let's see if they can get some pressure. They haven't had much pressure from their defensive line tonight.
One of the best teams in terms of TFLs this season, Louisiana. Very good sacking team as well, but only 3 linemen out on a 3rd down and 12. Cochran fakes the give to Cason. Has time. Fires. Knocked away. Great coverage. 3 defenders there. And Louisiana makes the stop. It's even Arthur with the breakup, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Florida was 8 of 11 coming into that play. Now 8 of 12. Louisiana only rushed 3, which benefited them on the back end. They had a lot of defenders back in coverage, and they were able to make a play on the football and get the ball back for their offense. Big job. They only let about a minute come off the time of the clock.
Marcus Agrippa will punt it away. Another high-arcing punt. 4.5 on the hang time. Liam Hammer on the return. And not much on it. More good coverage by Florida's special teams. Now available free to download. You can play the SFL video game on the go on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, an emulator for 4K23 in the palm of your hand. Order your Retroid today at GoRetroid.com. Search SFL and download our mod at simulationfl.net/4K23. Retroid, the official console of the SFL. I'm just trying to make sure that Retroid likes me even more than they already did.
I was going to say, nothing but Retroid reads tonight, huh, Tim?
Hey, 3 through 3. Undefeated, never lost. As Utah trying to not lose, he links up with Liam Hammer. He has had a brilliant day. A season high 145 yards and counting tonight for Liam Hammer.
Yeah, and this one's a tough one. Right on the corner route, the defender was crashing down to make a play. Blaine got the hit on him, but it didn't come in enough time to jar the ball loose. There's a look at Hammer's numbers. Look at that, 9 completions for Tommy Utah, 5 of them to Liam Hammer, only 2 of which are to any other receiving threat that's not a halfback.
Wayne Salmons has a couple of those catches, has a shoulder check on Leon Thunderman, and has a gain of 5. Hammer's previous season high this season was 114 yards, so he's more than 30 yards better than that, and he's got Louisiana's only 2 touchdowns, 1 in each half. They need 2 more to come back and take down Florida. East Division champs already at 9-2. Louisiana trying to get to 7-5 and get into the postseason, which starts next weekend. 2nd and 5. Chris Grant Jr. on this carry, and he only gets 1. Jesus Smith, more rookie-on-rookie action, 1-yard gain.
They are moving a little slower than I would like, Tim. I'd really love for him, if I'm the coach, to score on this side of 4 minutes in order to give them enough time to have a chance to kick it deep. The later it is, the more likely you have to kick an onside kick.
Sure. And Utah hovering right at 50% completion on the night. And as Andy just mentioned, only Liam Hammer has really gotten involved in the passing game. Utah will throw it to Hammer. Hammer makes the catch, and he's hit right at the first down line, they say. And there you go. Florida's going to challenge that spot.
Yeah, Louisiana tried to speed it up to get a snap off, and Florida wasn't having any of that, and rightfully so. I think this is probably the closest call I've seen in a while. He was right at that line.
Hammer on the catch. Art Vandalay, beg your pardon, on the challenge. And there's our first look. Go ahead, Andy. What do you think? It's Ryan Davidson on coverage.
Well, that's just not a great angle, the first one. This one was the better angle, but they didn't show it until after he caught it. This is tough.
Absolutely could go either way. It's overturned. Florida's going to win the challenge, and Louisiana will be shorts. Wow.
Well, I think you go for it. I mean, it's 4th and, an inch, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Salmon's time, baby.
The graphic isn't large enough to show that it's 4th and inches, so it might as well just be 4th and a single inch.
Yeah, 4th and inch.
Yes. Collier is off the field, the fullback. Salmons alone in the backfield with Utah. On 4th down and inches, this might decide Louisiana's season. Utah will throw. Under pressure, flings it up. First down catch, right on the money. And who's got it? Adam Banks, his first catch of the night, his first catch in a couple of weeks. And another 3rd down grab for him in his Louisiana career. Utah throws a pick, jumping interception, and a return opportunity here for Adam Jones, who's finally hit by Tommy Utah. And one play after Louisiana saves its season with a 4th down pickup, Utah may have just thrown it away.
A roller coaster of emotions. The excitement of picking it up on 4th down. I couldn't believe that they went to throw it, and then they went into hurry-up mode, which was probably smart considering how much time was left. But just to give it right back to Florida, devastating.
That's unbelievable turn of events. Banks has been such a big-time 3rd down option. Spent last season with Minnesota, but is back now here at Louisiana. Another 3rd down catch for him in his career. And then on the very next play, Utah throws a pick to Adam Jones, who's had a brilliant year as a corner. And Avion Cason is going to try to salt this one away. Charlie Boletsky left with an injury late in the 2nd quarter. They've elevated Avion Cason to a featured role. Never even heard of this guy before tonight, Andy Hamilton. That's how unknown he was. But he's already found the end zone, and he's had a really, really nice night. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, he's like the ramen you have at the back of your pantry no matter what. You don't know why he's there, you don't know how he got there, but he might get the job done.
I thought you meant Tommy Ramen, who does typically get the job done, except against Vancouver. But less said about that, the better.
I wasn't going to say it.
2nd down and 5. And Florida, which is the third best time of possession team in the league this year, will try to salt this one away with Kason. And Kason gets stopped short by Dante Grimm. We've seen a lot of generous spots tonight, Andy. They do not give Kason that one. It's third down.
And Florida's not going to challenge that because they think they can come back and get it on third down. So why challenge it and save time when in reality, if you're Louisiana, you might want to challenge it and say, hey, I think he got the first one there.
Exactly. You know, Florida can waste another 40 seconds of this clock, even if they thought they actually got it. Because all they need is one more yard, and they can start to salt this game away.
Yeah, and Doyle could get it. I mean, at this point, Kason could get it.
Cochran could get it, too. He's had one nice run tonight.
Pause.
Missing the man in motion. Scored one of Florida's touchdowns, the first of the game for them. Here's Kason, tries to find a hole. There's another one for another first down for Avion Kason, off the bench and into the storybooks for Florida, especially if they can get that number 2 seed. It's right there for the taking, courtesy of Avion Kason.
And you just would never think that if Beletsky goes down, you know, one of the most valuable players on an individual team in the SFL for what he does for this Florida Storm team, that is supposed to be an injury that changes the outcome of a game. And Kason said, oh, it's my time to shine, and steps right up.
You make such a great point. There are so many teams that are equipped for this potential injury. You don't think that Florida is. They're one of the few teams that don't have 2 running backs. And Kason is not a featured member of this league, and he is making us look silly for suggesting that. He's been brilliant. He's close to 100 rushing yards.
And Doyle in this offensive line helping him lead the way.
2 minutes left in regulation, and for the Revs, it might be 2 minutes left in their season unless they can pull something off. Kason and Cochran leading the way. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. Doyle and this Florida offensive line helping pave the way for a storybook ending for Avion Kason and the Florida Storm. 1 win away from another 10-win season and a possible second seed in the postseason. Kason shuffles through. It'll be third down and 1. Louisiana will use its first timeout. Well, if you're looking for one of the best teams in the SFL on this half of the country on the East Coast, then once again, all signs point to Lauderdale, the team based here in the I, a win away from 10. They've already wrapped up the East Division, and they're trying to make this not just a day to remember, but a night to remember and a season to remember if they can potentially lock up the number 2 seed, which they will do if they win tonight and Alamo City loses to Fort Worth tomorrow night on the Monday Night Spectacular. If that happens, Florida jumps up from the number 3 seed to the number 2 seed. Avion Kason gets them the first down, gets them even more, and Gary Clem will stop him at the 35. Over 100 rushing yards for the backup tailback, and that might have just sealed things up for the Storm.
Yeah, break out your pina coladas and whatever else you choose to partake with if you're here in Florida. The Storm got the job done, and if you're Louisiana, boy, is that a long flight back after a game like this.
Yeah, as you said, Andy, the script was lining up for them. They knocked out Beletsky. They didn't do it on purpose, but Florida's absent their best offensive player. I don't think it's an insult to say that. Lee's leader in rushing touchdowns with 23. He's gone, didn't play this entire second half, and they've got a non-star backup. If Louisiana were on the other situation, they would have at least have Chris Grant to shoulder the load, but Florida does not have that. So much for that. Avion Kason's had one of the best tailback performances that you're going to see in only half the game.
Oh, and it goes to 2 things. The offensive line has stepped up, as well as the coaching staff has put together a game plan that no matter who is in that back, I tell you what, Tim, I probably could rush for 45 yards or so in this second half with the way that this blocking is going and the way that the coaching staff has put them in the position to win this game. Says a lot about Florida, and if you're going into the playoffs, you do not want to come down here to the I.
No doubts, and some team will have to. They've already locked up a first-round bye and a second-round home playoff game. They were at worst going to be the number 3 seed, which is obviously something most teams would shoot for. But after a dismal season last year for Florida, just the second time they've ever been below 500 and out of the playoffs, they are going to double their win total in just one season from 5 to 10. They've already locked up the East Division yet again. and they are going to knock their division rivals, the Revolution, out of the playoff picture entirely. All in a night's work for Ron Cochran, Max Paul, and the Florida Storm.
Well, and Tim, looking over at the playoff picture, it looks like San Diego will likely clinch first playoff appearance in franchise history. All San Diego, Canton, Seattle, all first-timers. There's a fairly likely bracket. I'll let you kind of walk people through that.
Yeah, it's amazing to see all of the new teams with success or teams with new success in the new era of the SFL. I mean, Seattle is the prime example of that with what they've done on the balance of this season. But Canton, San Diego, also likely first-time playoff entrance if these results hold. Cochran will take another knee. We'll not be talking about a Revolution in the postseason this year. Louisiana is out. Florida's got a shot at the number 2 seed, and a lot of other teams will learn their playoff fates in just a few minutes. This game's going final. Arizona and Vegas going final, and week 14 of season 21 of the SFL is just about over. Florida's got its 10th win. They knocked Louisiana out of the playoff picture with a resounding 14-point final. Avion Quezon, the highlight maker in this one. Florida wraps up another double-digit win regular season.
Yeah, quite the battle between these two teams. Louisiana equipped to get the job done tonight. Just too many errors. Could not take advantage of the opportunity. Florida really good on their side of the ball. They did everything that they could and everything that they needed to do, even with the injury. The Storm get the job done. They do what they need to do to potentially be in that 2 seed, and we'll see exactly what kind of happens throughout the rest of the SFL schedule for them tomorrow night on Monday night. And then it's all about the playoffs, Tim. Louisiana, though, not going to be there this season. They fall to 6-6, which in plenty of seasons in the SFL would be good enough for the playoffs, but this season not going to do it. The competition level has stepped up, and the hierarchy of the SFL, the better teams have risen to the top, Florida being one of them. They will continue to push forward, and for Louisiana, they'll start to regroup for next season. It's always, that's the thing about the SFL, Tim, that's so great. 2 seasons, a calendar year, gives you the chance to get right back into it.
Charleston and San Diego, the biggest beneficiaries of these results. There's one more game still in action right now, Arizona and Las Vegas. You can find that on our YouTube channel as well with Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith. A rare red zone failure for Florida to finish off that night, but they are now 6-1 all time against Louisiana, and win number 6 gives Louisiana loss number 6 this season and knocks the Revs out of the playoff picture. That'll wrap things up here from Fort Lauderdale. For my friend Andy Hamilton, Damon Simeon, Ron Haynes, and Cameron Irvine, I've been Tim Hackett. We'll see you next week for the SFL playoffs. Until then, so long from South Florida.